This is the Global Broadcasting Service, serving remote outposts since 1928.
Hi, everyone. Welcome aboard the Walt Disney World Express Monorail.
Caramba, we have something really big for you today.
Welcome, foolish mortals.
Now then, hang on to them hats and glasses, because this here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
This is the DBC Pod with Phil Schoen and Jason Dodge. Hi, friends. Welcome to this week's Pod, the show for the week of June 3rd, 2024. And there is a ruckus on the internet, Phil. There is a disturbance in the force. There is a general grumbling of the chronically online folks on Diz Twitter or your closest comment section. Tiana's Bayou Adventure is out and about in the public eye. There are POV videos, one released by Disney, which we'll talk about in a second. Cast previews, all the major show websites out there have had their media videos, everything else is released. So there is a bevy of opinion out there, Phil.
Yes.
And I kind of don't know how to start this conversation, because obviously Tiana's Bayou Adventure is the biggest thing for this year for Disney. It's a multi-million-dollar revamp of Splash Mountain. There's a lot of emotion around this one, and more so than I guess any other attraction that I can kind of think of. And where do you want to start, Phil? You want to start with the technical of a timeline before we get to the psychological evaluation of the
I mean, I added that to the show notes. I thought we could start by commenting about how Disney first released that video, which was the episode 2 of We Call It Imagineering, which showed the finale of it, talking about the music and stuff, because it has the original song. And I guess we should say we'll, I think, do our best to not talk spoilers, but we'll see what happens.
Look, I just put it this way before we start. There's going to be spoilers. So if you're really trying to hide this, fast forward a whole bunch until the second half when we get to part 2 of our resort ranking episode. But we're going to talk a lot of I think it's impossible to have non-spoilers for this discussion.
I mean, we're not going to do like scene by scene or anything like that, but it's going to be, I mean, with how much Disney released and there's clips everywhere, it's kind of hard to avoid them altogether. I know some people are doing their best, but we'll see.
They're trying.
But so Disney released We Call It Imagineering video, which showed the finale with the new song and stuff like that, which I thought that was interesting, just to release the finale scene, the big kind of show number that thought everybody's going to be excited about. But it was neat to see, and it was neat to see like, hey, they did not skimp on the animatronics. They look great and blah, blah, blah. But then what was really interesting was...
Well, let's stop there, okay? Right? Because I watched it. I watched that episode. I mean, it was after it was initially released, a couple days after I watched it. And because it was released like on was it Wednesday or Thursday last week?
Yeah, Wednesday, I think.
And then the
like
POV video, point of view video, was released, 2 days ago? At the Sunday?
Friday or Saturday, yeah.
Saturday, okay. So it was a couple days in between. And the, I guess, response of the Imagineering video was extremely positive. People were like, "Oh, this looks amazing." People were actually loving the song. My kids listened to it and they were singing the song on the way to the bus stop when it came out. It generally, to me, it was very well received.
Yeah.
And but then then what happened, Phil?
Yeah, then what happened is Disney released a full POV, point of view video of the entire attraction, mostly. Yeah. And part of the problem, I think, was it was not a good video. It was like they just stuck a camera to the front of a boat, so you didn't really. The view wasn't aimed at where it should have been. It wasn't always at the interesting part. They seemed to kind of cut through some parts just to get to the next sort of exciting part. And I don't know, it just, everyone got into a tizzy. All the people that were against the redo or whatever came out of the woodworks.
Well, before we get to the psychotic people out there, let's talk about Disney's reasoning, or like, I was shocked that they released a full
I was too.
Point of view video, because they've never done that before. I like how they released the finale with the new song, get people kind of jazzed up for it. And what did you think of the song, first of all, Phil, when you first heard it?
To be honest, it took me a couple listens to kind of really get it and kind of know when the chorus was going to hit and stuff like that. After a few listens, I really liked it. I think it's a fun, catchy. It kind of brings everything together. It kind of fits as the finale song.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good song.
I mean, to me, it's catchy. I don't. Let me preface this. I don't have any strong connection to Splash. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But like, I mean, I guess you can't really top Zippity Doo Dah because it's a huge anthem for the parks for such a long time.
Right. It's not just for the ride. That's a big thing with that song was it was used in parades and everything like that. So it's kind of bigger than the attraction.
But like, I think this is a very good replacement if you had to replace it with something. Yeah. I just put it that way. I don't know how else to describe it. But yeah, so, and then Disney releases this video as we've been talking about. And like you said, like any POV video for any attraction is absolutely horrific, right? Because us humans, we have peripheral vision and we're able to move our heads and take in a lot more of the scenery, right?
Yeah.
If you watch a POV video with just the camera straight on, it's like literally blinders. Think of any kind of horse with blinders on it. They cannot see. And if you're watching this, you're watching me put my hands up. That's all you see, that one frame. And attractions are not meant to be consumed in that view.
Right.
So it's very sterile. And POV videos are great when you want to get an idea of an attraction or you want to relive a specific moment on a video or like see the shaman in Navi River Journey or something else like that. Key elements you want to check them out. But they're not meant to get a full, feeling for the attraction. So that's their first mistake. The second mistake, any kind of POV video, when you don't have dubbed in music, the audio is absolutely horrific. Yep. Like, I don't care if you're like an expert with like 8K video and over this, you're not going to get good video because the ride is very loud because it's a lot closer to the mic. You do not get any 3D effect of the microphone because you're not getting digital 3D audio piped into either ear, right? It's just a mishmash of like background sounds. So the music is going to be flat. The voices from the animatronics telling you things are going to feel like it's just being echoey and like yelled at you. It's not a good look. And then the third point. Oh, and the cut it weird, Phil.
Yeah,
that was the strange part. And I think that's kind of what got people riled up, right? First of all, they're expecting something grand video because it's from Disney, and it was no better than anybody else.
Well, that was the one comment I was going to make. Is I think it was worse. Like I watched a couple videos that came out today from some of the vloggers and stuff like that. I'm not saying it was great, but they were significantly better because they actually did rotate and kind of like went with where their eyes were going and stuff like that. Like it made me, it stood out to me how much worse Disney's was versus that, but not to say theirs were perfect or give you the full experience, but I feel like Disney's wasn't even a good POV.
Yeah. I mean, I think what they were probably doing with it, like, let's get a POV video and then splice it up and put into like social media, like 20-second hits of like a scene, but with like music overlay and stuff like that. To me, it was incredibly lazy. But yeah, like other people did the videos and stuff like that, and you got a better sense of watching the video.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the POV video that Disney put out because I wasn't expecting it to be wonderful. I just wanted to check it out, and I thought it was fine. I showed it to my kids; they were very excited about the attraction. There's. Let me talk about my family's reaction to it first. So I watched it first finally, and I didn't get a good sense of it because the video was bad. I watched it again with somebody else's take. I got a better sense of it. I thought they were rushing you through the bayou, rushing you into the shrinking scene, rushing you out to the party, and they weren't rushing you. So that was my first take was bad for that. So maybe that's how bad the video was. But I showed it to my two kids, my two girls, 6 and 11. They both oohed and awed with the shrinking effect as you're going up and down.
Interesting.
That was their favorite part. And I thought that effect is pretty cool. Like it looks like you're going into the effect that I'm talking about is if you watch the video, there's like you have like yellow and purplish and pink lights that are streaming at you, but they rotate, right?
Yep.
So as you're going down, it looks like you're falling down a hole. I think it's a really cool effect. I can't wait to see it in person.
Yep.
And they really, I mean, they love the animatronics, they love the songs, but they really were, I wouldn't say startled, but like, wow, that's awesome. They really like that. And they're generally overall, they thought it was really good. So then I polled all my kids, right? at the dinner table last night. I said, hey guys, what do you remember of the story of Splash Mountain? Right. So I've got a 11-year-old, 6-year-old, and a 9-year-old. We all saw this. We all were on this attraction in December of 2022. Right. So the reason why I'm saying this is I don't think a lot of people remember what was on Splash Mountain. And I had a line on Twitter that says most people don't remember what's in Splash Mountain, and their nostalgia fills the rest of the attraction. And I think that's what's going on quite a bit. Yep. So I polled my kids, right? Because it's like everybody's kind of going on about how the story in Splash Mountain was fantastic. The characters had depth and emotion and feeling. And I asked my 6-year-old, what do you remember about Splash? I remember lots of frogs. I like Splash better because it had more frogs in it. Okay. I asked my 11-year-old and my 9-year-old, and they basically said the same thing. It's Briar Rabbit, ran away from a fox, got stuck, and was on a riverboat at the end. And that was basically it. But they liked the song. They liked, some of the antics, like each scene. They remember individual scenes, but they didn't really string a story together from scene to scene.
Yeah.
And then I asked them, what did you think about the story from the video? And granted, the story's not that much better. It's a shallow story, but they were able to you got to find a band, we got a party, like the general hits were there. And that was one of the things I actually I'm curious about, because Phil, what do you think about comparing the story from Splash to Tiana's?
Yeah, I think it's interesting because I think they're both pretty light on story. I mean, a lot of attractions aren't super deep, right?
Right. No.
And some of the best attractions have very minimal story, right? Like there's not a huge depth to Pirates of the Caribbean or anything like that. It's kind of more setting a scene and some things happen. And I think both of these attractions, both versions of it, have that. I mean, Splash was kind of elements from 3 different of the Uncle Remus stories put together. And it had, obviously you're following around and you had the one kind of thread of the rabbit and the fox, and it did create some tension and that sort of thing, but it wasn't like Shakespeare or something like that, so I think it was a fun story that guided you through the different elements. But I mean, I keep going back to the brilliance of the attraction is the layout, the scale of it, like kind of everything they did to make a log flume, like a fairly epic kind of, in length at least, dark ride that also had multiple flume drops and stuff like that, and kind of the big drop that you saw and then you got to experience, and the fun ending and stuff like that. And this ride still has all of that, Yes. So I don't know. I mean, I agree with you too. I think, and I also feel bad because anytime you try to have arguments or whatever, it comes off like you're putting down Splash. And content aside, I really enjoyed Splash. Splash was one of the best attractions Imagineering's ever done, but it wasn't perfect. And I think there's just a lot of nostalgia glasses going on where people are, like you said, filling in all the cracks, and for some reason saying it was full of these amazing animatronics, and
none of the animatronics were good.
Right. That was
they went up and down. They had like one range of motion.
Yeah,
maybe the head swiveled also or something else.
Yeah,
like that.
I think I told you I went back because I wanted to see what people are commenting on. So on one of the message boards, I lasted like 2 days because I just don't think that people were commenting in good faith when they were complaining about how a lot of the animatronics in this have simple movements. And I'm like, but that's what Splash had. And they were like, no, there were 55 legit animatronics. The ones in Tiana's don't qualify. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, there's a bunch of like animals that had a couple movements and stared at you and said, how do you do? It wasn't like, the Sistine Chapel or anything like that. So I don't know. I think in trying to make their arguments for why Disney shouldn't have changed the ride, they're looking back with they're painting it in too bright of a light to make it seem like it was this perfect attraction that had no flaws and shouldn't have been touched.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so we compared the story. I have to give the leg up to Tiana's for the story, but just like a little bit because they're both shallow stories.
Yeah.
On the animatronic side, you have to give it to Tiana's. Like the animatronics, I think, are absolutely gorgeous. One of the major complaints that people have, and I think it's an overstatement, is that it's not full enough of animatronics and think it's like there's empty scenes.
Yeah.
There's 2 things going on here because every single complaint that you're reading out there are people that have not been on the attraction.
Yep.
Right? They have zero experience with the attraction. So one of the problems that we alluded to before with Disney cutting from scene to scene, it's lending to the idea that half of it's empty because you're not seeing the transitions.
Yeah.
One friends, Zach, friend of the show, who had his cast member preview, had a brief mention in Discord where he said the scenery in this attraction is absolutely gorgeous, transitioning from scene to scene. He commented that the Disney video was awful because you missed all the really good stuff as you're going from scene to scene. So there's some added effect there. The third part is like the characters themselves. A lot of people are talking about, and I quoted somebody in Discord. I found it and I just wanted to read it. Briar Rabbit was such a lively character with a strong personality and had a well done animatronics to back him up. First of all, we talked about the animatronics. He did not have any good animatronics at all. I don't know how Briar Rabbit was a lively character. I mean, it was a character that you saw, chase away and you kind of cheered him on and felt for him and that type of thing. But I don't know about lively character. He doesn't have like a movie that's well loved to back up his character. It's a movie from 50 something years ago, and anybody he's not in the cultural zeitgeist by any way. So compared to like Tiana and all the other characters that people know and love that are current, I don't think you can compare character wise to this. And the sense that, a lot of people were saying some of these characters are just gesturing and that's all they're doing. I'm like, have we just seen anything from Splash? Do we not remember Splash Mountain at all? Like all they did was bounce up and down. So the other complaint that is just bizarre is that people are saying that they took the thrill of the drop away or the suspense of the drop away. And I didn't ever realize that we were supposed to be scared because we were falling into a briar patch before, because you didn't know it's a briar patch unless you remembered after going through 9 minutes of the attraction or however long it is, that you remember there's a briar patch outside and that you're about to fall through it. Like to me, I never got that suspense. Did you? I mean, what is your thought process on like comparing the build up to the drop?
Yeah, I do somewhat agree with that. And not that one's better than the other, but I do get the point of that. They did kind of build up the fear factor, for lack of a better word, the ominous of it, because obviously you just saw Don't Throw Me in the Briar Patch, and as you're going up, they have the buzzards kind of were like creepy and stuff like that. So I think it did kind of make it that more like, oh, we're going to do something a little, like we're going somewhere a little bit scary. And I think in Tiana's, it's more of, this is going to be a fun thing to do.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think you can get thrill, whether it's fear or excitement.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. They're both thrilling experiences, just one's more fun and one has that scary element to it. So they are different, but I don't think it makes Tiana bad because it doesn't have that fear element. And I think sometimes people they think back to like when Walt said like sometimes it's good for kids to be scared and stuff like that. But every ride doesn't have to be scary or like creepy and freak kids out and stuff like that. Like what's wrong with just having fun and, like you said, fun thrills? It's almost more like a water slide or something like that, where it's more like just enjoying yourself.
I mean, I'd be surprised if you polled any kid from 5 to 10 about the lead up to the drop, right?
Yeah.
I don't think they care what's happening, whether it's ominous or spooky or scary. They're staring straight up into the daylight and like, oh my goodness, we're about to go down. They're getting scared because they saw people drop down from the outside. Yeah. So I don't think any story elements is adding to the thrill to this, to be honest with you, right? Because you know what's happening. So it could be a blank tube, and I think it adds the same. I think Tiana is slightly better because, if not a lot better, just because you have a really awesome Mama Odie like animatronic leading up to it, and the only other thing I think the finale is probably just as, I think, better for Tiana's, just the animatronics are better. It's more lively. It's colorful. Zippity Doo Dah was a better song, so that kind of left you really, really happy going. It's maybe Tiana's well too. But I can't tell if I've never been on it. The only thing my kids missed, right? The first thing my oldest daughter said, "Oh, it's missing," was the birdhouses on the at the top of the attraction before you kind of go for the first
like
time.
When you're starting, yeah.
So that was the only thing, but she loved like the dancing okra and all going through the garden and all this other stuff. So altogether positive from my family. What was your take? Has your family? I should ask. Have they seen it, or are they waiting?
No,
to...
everyone in the family is, besides me, is trying to go in spoiler free. So they're not watching any of the videos and stuff like that. So I've been kind of watching it on the down low and stuff like that, and trying to see things. So they haven't seen anything to comment. I've basically just been saying, look, I think you guys are really going to like it, because knowing them, especially my daughter, the one that's going with my wife on the 28th, I think she'll she just likes to be happy at Disney, and I think this ride will make her happy. So I think they'll really like it. So they haven't shared that. I mean, I kind of been giving my thoughts. I think it looks really good. It looks different. And that was one other thing Zach said, like he was almost impressed. I think Disney Drew commented too, that they were impressed with how different the ride felt, that it felt like it wasn't just putting Tiana into Splash Mountain. It felt like a completely different experience, which I think is great.
Yeah. And I'm not going to dwell too much on the negativity, but there's a lot of negativity out there. If you're a person that's not somehow insulted by this, just avoid it and be happy and enjoy the change that we have, because by all accounts, assuming the ride's not down, by all accounts, it's being very well received by the people that are actually going on it, and not the people staring at a YouTube video. Now, I mean, I tease about going into the. I'm thinking, like, we're about 20 minutes into the show. I don't think we need to get into the nutty responses.
No, I think there's some. The one thing I will say, like, some of it is probably in good faith, trying to say, like, I really love the ride. I think there were elements that were better, worse. I kind of wish this was better, blah blah blah. And it's sometimes hard to tell, because there are some out there that are just bad characters. And I saw even some people are doing some sleuthing and found, like, people who post on this message board, if you go to some other boards they post on, really scary stuff they post type thing. So just be mindful. You don't know who's behind some of these comments and stuff like that. And all these comments are coming out. One of the websites had it. It's official. This ride's the worst redo ever. I'm like, how can it be official? The ride's not even open yet. Like,
yeah, exactly.
So just like everyone's going, I wish the negative and hate wasn't what got clicks, but it tends to.
It is. Yep.
So just try to keep that in mind.
Yeah, I mean, this is on the back, so we didn't talk about it, but the 4-hour Star Cruiser video that just basically trounced Disney for the whole thing, which is, I think it's relatively unfair for this person to kind of do that. There's a lot of good points. I didn't watch the video. I've read some of the highlights, because I'm not watching a 4-hour video about the Star Cruiser, because it's already closed and I was never going on it anyway. And she had some valid points from what I've read, but I don't need. I think people couldn't wait to pounce on Disney for that mistake. Obviously, it's a mistake. It's closed after a year and a half. But and then with this video, I think they're just like, I can't wait to make fun of it. I'm like, why are you spending all of your time, like, literally this, like, the same, like, 20, 30 people, like, on WDW Magic spent the whole weekend posting in threads, like, literally, like, 2 to 5 posts per page, coming up with different reasons to cause a ruckus. And it's just like, don't engage. And I unfortunately engaged a little bit because I was bored yesterday. And it's just like, do you find ways to be offended by your comments about telling them to stop being negative, and just don't talk to them?
Yep.
Just go about your Sunday, go about your Monday, go about your Tuesday, hug your spouse, say hi to your friends, call your parents, tell somebody you love them.
Touch some grass
at the very least, and move on from there. All right. Is there any other comments on Tiana's Bayou Adventure?
The only other quick thing I did want to make was you didn't see it in Disney's, but in some of the other people, they showed the queue, and the indoor portion of the queue, they added a lot of detail. So that's like a major step up, I think, compared to Splash. So we were talking about, is it going to be individual lightning, Genie Plus standby, whatever like that. If you're in standby, at least I think they made the queue a little bit more interesting and stuff like that. And so just take it all in, go see it for yourself. I think they did, you can tell they put legit money into this. Yeah. I think it looks really nice. It looks amazing at night, and go in with an open mind. But I think 99% of the average guest is going to enjoy it. That's
the funny part. Is like, you get all these angry people, but like, you'll say like, once everybody gets it, so they're going to think it's absolutely fantastic, I believe, and all these people are just going to be angry. No one has good taste. I have the good taste, and just ignore those people, or just put them on ignore and never see what they post ever again, which is kind of what I do. Okay, so the title of the show is going to be Ranking Resorts Part 2. So we'll put Tiana's behind you. And Phil, this is your project, your spreadsheet. You made some changes from last week. So what are we doing this week?
Yeah, so we're up to we have about 2/3 of the resorts to go. So I have confidence we can do this.
Yes.
But the one quick thing I did was it became apparent last time, because I had asked for some input from Discord and stuff. Am I missing anything? Like, what should we do? There were a number of people said we should have pool separate. So we did that. I feel like for both amenities and pool, for too many of them, we were like, I think it's the baseline number, or what, like we didn't really have a lot to give. I made the executive decision to combine those back again. So pool amenities will be one category, and I kind of just picked a number, but almost all of them had like almost the same score anyway for the two.
Fair enough.
It's not really a big deal. So there will be one less category to discuss. Hopefully that helps us get through them a little quicker today.
Yeah, I mean, like I was kind of like ignoring amenities because I couldn't really think of additional amenities.
Yeah, the big thing with amenities and pool is kind of the same way too, is there are some resorts that kind of have some extra things, and I just wanted to make sure they get credit for that. So now it'll be whether it's an extra thing like at Port Orleans they have the carriage rides, or at Beach Club they have the amazing pool, they will get some credit for that.
100%. So why don't you kick us off with the first one this week?
Yeah, so the next one I'll start them off together, but we'll talk about it individually because we think they are different enough. We have Coronado Springs. We put in here both the regular rooms, the casitas, but then also the Grand Destino Tower, because they're very different, and I think your experience when you're staying in one versus the other is going to be a little bit different. Just for the casitas, the pricing was around $276, $220 with the discount, whereas for the Grand Destino Tower, it was around $368, $294. So, $50 to $100 more to stay in the tower. So, Jason, have you stayed at Coronado Springs?
I stayed here in 2017. They were just starting the construction of the tower, so I got a discount for construction. Okay. Three Bridges obviously wasn't open at that point. Okay. And I stayed in the it's probably right around, I guess, like 3:00 at the resort. It's to the east of the main pool, where it's kind of like your moderate style outdoor. Yeah. The doors on the outside to the outside is in the 2-story area. And personally, that was the first time I ever booked by myself for Disney, and I actually enjoyed my stay there.
Okay. So for the casitas overall, and I guess for the resort overall, how would you rate the theming compared to other moderate resorts?
This is a tough one because like the pool itself, and we're going to talk about this, but can I add the theming for the pool to the theming of the resort, or should I keep that in the pool itself?
I mean, I think you could do whatever you want. It's your show, but
I
think
so
how
it's our show.
I would say how that adds to the overall feel and theme of the resort. You can give it some credit, but don't
from my 2017 view, I would say the theming's probably a 2 out of 5. But I think that changes dramatically with like how the resort looks now, I think. And I have not been on property since everything's open. I think it opened in 2019, I think.
19, I think, yeah.
So I haven't been there with like 3 Bridges, and I think that probably adds a lot to the
overall feel and vibe.
Yeah. So I'll give it a 2, but I will say it's probably at least a 3 now. So I don't know how you want to interpret.
I haven't stayed there, but I've been there since it's been open and stuff like that, and it has a good vibe walking around it and stuff. But I still don't think it's.
We're just on theme though, not vibe.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
I'll score vibe differently.
Okay. Yeah. Theme. I don't think the theme is anything special. I still think a 2 is
okay. Fair enough.
Now for the pool, I think this is where you would want to up it a little bit.
I think this has the best moderate pool of all of them. The Aztec temple pyramid thing is really awesome.
It's really pretty iconic too. Yeah.
The pool itself is huge, right? Like it's just wide open. If you're a parent and you're sitting anywhere around the pool, you can see the whole pool. Versus something like Caribbean Beach, where there are some nooks and crannies. If you're sitting in a certain place, you can't see your kids. So that kind of makes you nervous if you have small kids that aren't strong swimmers. I would probably rank the pool. Now this is tough. So I think it might be a stretch to give it a 4. I think at minimum it's a 3. I just don't know where to put it at this point. So I guess safely maybe a 3.
I would say 3, also because we're doing pool and amenities, and it does have some amenities because it is a very convention heavy resort. So I think it does have some of those kind of business services type amenities above other moderates. But I still think I think a 3 is appropriate. It's not something that you're going to like pick this resort over anything else because of the pool. Like, it's a great pool for what it is, but
fair enough.
Yeah. Now for vibe, is this where you would give it a little higher or lower?
The vibe when I was there is probably, I've stayed. The only moderate I haven't been to is the French Quarter, Port Orleans French Quarter, and I think this is the lowest vibe out of all of them because because you did again. I probably would give the vibe a 2.
Yeah.
But I think I'd up the vibe to a 3 just based off the videos I've seen of like 3 bridges and stuff like that, because that kind of adds to like the overall coolness factor of that thing. So I would personally give it a 2 now based off memory, but it's probably upgraded to a 3 at this point.
Okay. Yeah, I think 2 or 3 is still probably accurate. I do think there's some areas that are nice with the water and stuff like that, but it's still, I think it's less than some of the other moderates still.
Okay. Fair enough. Oh, so we're going to give it a 2?
I think so.
Okay.
Location. So it is kind of in the Animal Kingdom area. Not only buses are the only ways to get around anywhere. Not really a lot near it. So from a location, I mean, unless you're looking for that sort of away from the busyness, although you sometimes can be quite busy with the conventions.
True.
So I think location is probably a 1 or pretty low, right?
What did we give the All-Stars for location? A 1?
A 1 as well, and same with Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, I would give this probably only a 2 because for a resort for just buses, the buses aren't that long, but you're still taking buses. Now, it's a giant resort, so where do I put the some rooms are very good to stay in because it's easy to get transportation, and some of them are long. So do we tuck that into location or we tuck that into rooms?
I think that's more rooms or just resort. Yeah, the location's more just like where the actual resort is situated.
Like, I don't think a 1 is a good score, but I think 2 might be too high. So, I mean, I don't. We're not doing half scores again. If I would err on the side of caution and say 2, but you can convince me for a 1.
I guess I'm trying to compare it to the other moderates, and like most of the others have something else going for them with the location, and I feel maybe like Coronado really doesn't.
Fair, but like other ones are going to get higher scores for me because of location. Yeah. I mean, I'll go with 1 with you if you want, because there are annoying buses.
Yep.
But you don't. There's one bus for that whole area. It's not like you're sharing multiple resorts with a bus too, like All Star. So I feel like it needs to have some distinction for the All Stars. But I'll stick it at 1 though. It's fine.
For dining, it has the ones in the central area, and then it also has 3 bridges, which is one of my. I think it's one of those hidden gem type places. Obviously,
I agree. I can't wait.
Based on the location, it's not always convenient to get to, but it's a really cool restaurant. They do like sangria tastings there and stuff like that. Like, it's a fun spot. I know also it has access to the Gran Destino Tower, which has food. We're going to rate that overall separately, but I think the fact that you could just like walk there, still you get some credit for that.
If you're going to name the whole resort, and I think we should give the tower and the rest of the resort the same score for food because you're not walking far.
Yeah. Right? So in that case, I think it's at least a 4.
I was going to say a 4. Yeah, I'm with you on a 4. If the tower didn't exist when I was there, and 3 bridges didn't exist,
then it's like a
2. Only because here's the thing, because I ate at, I forget the name of the restaurant that's right by the food court, but I ate lunch there. And I was definitely not impressed. That was like one of the, like after going the first time when I went with my sister in 2015, I mean, we were eating at CRT, we had all these other great meals, but then we went here and I'm like, oh, okay, this was just kind of average. How much did I just spend on this type of thing? In the food court, I would give this a 2 because the food court was really good because the portion size. It's like I bought like a sandwich. The sandwich was giant that I got there. I just have this memory of a giant sandwich in front of me that was like $9, and I thought this is great. But yeah, no, the tower food, which I haven't eaten, but I've seen plenty of reviews on. Everybody loves it. And Three Bridges is something like if I were to go down, like my wife doesn't drink. She's not much of a foodie. I am, but if I didn't, I'm just asking for an excuse to go hang out here for a couple hours and grab a couple drinks at Three Bridges.
There's some amazing food there. I mean, their quick service is El Mercado de Coronado, which is, I guess you had big portions there. I've heard mixed things about. The Maya Grill also gets
Maya Grill. That's it. Yeah. Ugh, yeah, no good. And then they also have Rick's Sports Bar, which because of the convention centers. So there's some stuff that still kind of brings it down a little bit. Sure.
But all the new stuff is I think pretty stellar. So 4th seems appropriate. Rooms, I think the ones in the casitas are fine. They're okay. They're nothing special.
They've all been updated, I think, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, as long as you got USB ports and you have plenty of room and you can put your suitcases under the bed, I think the baseline is like a 3 for that, I think, for rooms. Or are we going 2 baseline?
I was thinking 2, but we gave the All-Stars, which have been updated and stuff like that, we gave them a 2. So.
Okay, so that's good. Okay, 2 is our baseline for that, for basic rooms. The only thing that this can go from a 1 to a 3 very quickly for here, because where I stayed was right by the pool, would be right by Three Bridges. It's the tower's closer than the actual lobby of the building when you're staying over there. There's a bus stop right there. So I bumped those up to a 3 for convenience. But then you have some other rooms that if you get stuck, you're in like no man's land in some places, which I think balances out to a 2. But I think it's worth saying that there are some rooms, if you request them, that are very nice that could elevate your experience there.
Yep. And then for value, as far as I can tell, I'm scanning quickly, of the moderates, it was the cheapest option by about $30 compared to other options, whether it's the Port Orleans or the Caribbean Beach or something like that. Obviously, location is playing a big role in that. But I think given the access you have to food and the pool and stuff like that, that right now the discount price I got for that night in August was $220. Like
that's a steal.
That's really not a bad price for kind of the amenities on the site. So would you do like a 4?
I was just going to say a 4. I'm high value on this. Anytime you can get a moderate under $250 is, I think, a good value.
All right. Doing the tower kind of quickly. Theming. I think the theming of the tower is really
high.
Cool.
It's high. I would go. I think you
with
have
all
to
the pictures of Walt and stuff like that in there, and
you got to start
lounge
at 4.
Yeah, I think 4.
Convince me it's a 5.
I think 4 is reasonable.
Yep.
The pool, it's the same pool and stuff like that.
Same score.
So 3. Vibe. I think it has a better vibe.
I'll give it a +1 from our previous score.
It also has a really good smell. My wife, it's one of my wife's favorite. Like resorts have different smells, and you can buy like the candles and stuff like that. She made us get one for the Grand Disney.
Oh, okay.
So she liked.
Oh, you want to give her a +2 then for the smell factor?
Sure, I'll give her.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Happy wife, happy life. And the location, I think it's the same. Dining's the same. The rooms, they're definitely a little bit nicer and more modern, but they're also. They kind of feel like a room that could be anywhere. They're not as themed or anything.
It's a
like
modern Disney room that's not themed. Yeah. So I basically same for the most part.
And then value. Now this is obviously a little bit more. You're getting a more modern room. You have the lobby. It's kind of almost a mini deluxe type thing without the location, but it is still the discounted price is still $294.
It's $70 more. It's to me like. I have to go. What did we give? We said 4.
4 right? For the casitas. Yeah, when at $220. So these are another $70 or whatever.
You might convince me this is a 4 too, because you are getting a deluxe experience at that resort. Like it's upscale food, upscale lounge. You get an upscale experience, in my opinion. So I think. Am I off by saying 4?
I was just going to look at. So we gave Animal Kingdom Lodge a 5.
Yep.
And the discounted price was $363. So this is still $60 a night cheaper than that. So it's obviously not as good, which is why I don't think it should be a 5 or anything like that. But I think a 4 is reasonable.
Yeah,
I don't think it should be lower than that.
4. I'm good with 4 for sure.
Okay. The next 2 are Fort Wilderness Resort. We have the cabins and the campgrounds. Pricing wise, cabins were on sale for $368 a night, and they sleep up to 6, which is a nice feature for them. The campgrounds you could get for $80 a night for a tent, but then you're in a tent. So.
But you also, if you have an RV and a hookup, that's almost as expensive as a expensive moderate room. Also,
yeah, it kind of depends on the which one you are, and they get expensive.
They get pricey.
They get pricey. You can find them cheaper for kind of non-holiday type things. So they vary a lot. But yeah, it's not $80.
No. So I think that's a little like it's more. I say we combine these two for the most part, Phil, just to keep it simple.
Okay.
Theming, there is no theming other than you're in the woods.
Yeah.
And it's quiet. People that love the campgrounds,
yeah.
right? So I can't give it a high theming score, but nature is the ultimate theme, I guess. How about a 3?
Okay, I was thinking 2 or 3 because they have like the different buildings and the pool area. Like
they haven't bulldozed it. Let's just put it that way, right? You can live in nature. Right,
they kind of just left it be, right? And like kind of with all the golf cart court tracks and stuff like that, and some of these, I think it's going to do better. For me, the theming is kind of low, but then like vibe is going to be really high. It's kind of what I'm thinking.
Okay, yes. So let's do 2 on the theme because it's whatever. And the new cabins aren't exactly themed at all. They're just like modern
boxes.
cabins. But pool and amenities, I could quickly say this is what is a baseline? It's 2.
Yeah, the one thing is they have a lot of. This is one where I think maybe for amenities they get a little bit more because they have
that's right. I keep forgetting about that.
Yeah. So they have like the horseback riding available, and then obviously you have to rent your own golf cart, but you could tool around on that. You obviously have like the fishing and the boats. Like there's a lot to do there. So that's why I thought the pool's nice, but it's kind of a regular pool. But I think the amenities kind of bring this up at least to a 3, if not a 4.
I don't know if I can go as high as a 4.
All right,
there's 3s for sure.
Yeah. Okay,
easily 3. Because the amenities, if the amenities came by staying there, but they're extra cost, right?
So some are included and some are extra. Yeah.
So and they could be expensive, and you're already spending a lot of
That's
money
fair.
to stay in the woods.
And then vibe. I think it's got a fun. People go over, especially if you're there during the holidays and stuff
I think if you want to include the people that are awesome and having golf cart parades and decorating, I think you got to go 5 on the vibe.
Yeah.
Because I can't disrespect the Fort Wilderness crowd. That's that's just live and breathe.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's one of those things. It's definitely not for everyone, but if it's for you, it's like perfect. So.
Yes, definitely a 5. We're a camping family type of thing, so we rent cabins. We're going on one in 3.5 weeks. For the first 4th of July week, we're going to be at a cabin in Rehoboth Beach, and I would love to do cabins down at Disney World. It's just too expensive.
Yeah. Location. It's kind of it's a tough one to rate because it's like you need that golf cart to get around, blah, blah, blah. But then
talk about value. Yeah.
But then you have the dock there where you can take a boat right to the Magic Kingdom and stuff like that.
You lose points when I have to take a bus to get on a bus. So location is going to get a low score for me unless you get like the best spot where you don't need it.
Yeah.
If you're close to the dock, the location's like almost a 4. It's like definitely a 3. But if you're out in the wilderness, location's probably maybe like a 1 almost.
Yeah.
I want to say.
Maybe we settle on 2 because I do think for the people that want that, and some people might want that remoteness, right? So in some ways it's not a negative.
Yeah.
But yeah, to your point, if you need to take a bus to get to another bus or use your thing that you have to golf cart that you have to pay for or something, it's got to get docked by that.
I want to see. I put if you want to be in the woods, I put that in theming that location. Yeah. I think about location is time to parks and other dining and stuff like that.
Okay. So I think a 2 though, because you can take the boat to Magic Kingdom and stuff like that.
Yes. But, okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm with you.
Dining. They just redid the one, the quick service location where you can get the fried chicken and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It has Hoop-Dee-Doo Review. It has like the general store and stuff like that. But you're also, if you're staying there, you're also probably cooking a lot of your own food and stuff like that. So, just with Hoop-Dee-Doo and stuff, it's got to be.
I think you got to start at a 4.
Yeah.
For Hoop-Dee-Doo, I got to give Hoop-Dee-Doo respect.
Yeah.
I mean,
I can't
my
go
wife would
5
give-
though, because I just don't
No.
think there's enough options. So.
No, my wife would give it a 0 because she's vegetarian. Even though they have vegetarian options, she doesn't like being around barbecues and seeing meat and everything else like that.
Okay.
But like I think you have to give Hoop-Dee-Doo respect and give it a 4.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Rooms. Well, it's either what you bring yourself or the cabins.
Well, I mean, the cabins are nice. I mean, they're
Yeah.
nice inside. You have full kitchen or a full mini kitchen. I mean, you can cook a Thanksgiving meal in there if you really tried hard enough.
Yeah.
It's you got, I don't care about the RV stuff. You bring it with you,
Yeah.
right? So that gets a null to me. But the cabins themselves, they're nice, right? The theming is maybe bland by some. I don't really care for. I mean, if the theming looks fine. It's a cabin and whatever. But the insides are really nice. I mean, like, I only want to say for what you get on there, it's almost a 4 for me on the room. I mean, we're not talking about value, but you have separate room for bunk bed. Like, this is the configuration I want in a hotel somewhere. Like, I need this somewhere. So this is for me personally, because a room for 6 speaks to me, because I'm going to be booking next year's trip in about a month or so. And I got to get 2 rooms. But if I had a cabin at like Caribbean Beach or somewhere else, I'd be booking it. Yeah. But I can't.
That's true. It probably does get some credit for having that unique option that's not really anywhere else. So yeah, I mean, it is just that one thing though, and they're not, I don't know. I'm between a 3 and a 4, but
I'll go 3 because I don't think everybody's going to agree with me on that. So 3, I think 3 would be more fair.
Okay. And then value.
It's like a 1.
Yeah, they're not. If we're for what you're paying for, I mean, I guess if you're willing to do the tent camping and stuff like that, it is a cheap way to do it.
True. Here's why value is low, right? So you're getting, if the cabins, what was the number you got? $368 for family of 6. That is a high value. I would give that a 4 if it was in any other moderate resort.
Yeah.
The fact that with my family, with kids, I need to get a golf cart, which is $200 a day at this point. That makes that room almost $600 a night, and that's not value. You have to add in the cost of the golf cart. You are going to imagine coming back from the Magic Kingdom to get you get off the ferry, off the dock, and now you got to wait for another bus to get to your cabin, and you got to wait through all the loops. You're going to be hating life because you didn't get that golf cart. Or you have a family of 5 or 6 and they don't rent you a golf cart that sits 5 or 6. Now you got to make 2 trips when you just want to go to bed.
Yeah.
So the golf cart, you have to add the cost of the golf cart to the room to be fair, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think because you can do it, it like if you're willing to do it, it could be the cheapest way to stay at Disney. I think it shouldn't be a 1, so maybe a 2.
Okay. I'll compromise. I'm just angry that I really want to do that. And it's a solution for my unique situation.
I guess I'm just thinking like,
I don't want to pay that
because I know the people that have their own campers, have their own golf carts and stuff like that. And this is a way, if you have that stuff, it's a way to make Disney
100%.
cheap, So I think you should get some credit.
Well, okay, then do this. Because we split them out, give cabins the 1 and give the campgrounds, a 3. If you want to do it that way. Do you think the campgrounds, if you have your RV, you have all your gear, the value is a 3?
I think if you have all that stuff already anyway, but obviously you have to buy all that stuff.
Let's say you have it, right?
Yeah, if you have it, then I think it's a great value.
Okay, so why don't you put campgrounds 3, cabins 1?
Okay, and then everything else gets the same score?
Yeah, they share.
Okay.
Do you think that's a fair assessment?
Yeah, I think if we're separating them out, I think that makes a lot of sense, yeah.
Well, they are separate on your list.
Well, I thought we were going to combine them.
I'm giving you more work to do.
All right.
What's next?
Moving on to something very different. Grand Floridian Resort and Spa. Just for pricing, this was $768, $576 with the discount. Obviously, it is themed to a Victorian style resort, kind of beachside resort. It's themed after the Coronado out in California and stuff like that. So for theming, what would you give it?
I think some people might give this a 5 because they love the look of it. It's gorgeous in there, especially at Christmas time. It's absolutely fantastic. I have to give it a 4 though, because it is a pretty resort. I can't compare it to Animal Kingdom Lodge though. Yeah,
no, I think that's fair. It's not everybody's style. It's not like where I would necessarily pick, but for what it is, they do a nice job.
100%.
Pool and amenities. It has some nice pools. Obviously, they're in good locations. It has the Mary Poppins one, the play area and stuff, the Mad Hatter play area. And this resort does have a lot of amenities. Now, again, they're extra charge if you're doing the spa and things like that, but they are available. So I do think
it's very nice.
Some credit for that.
I think it's a 4, based heavy on its amenities.
Yep. Vibe.
It depends on who you're talking to.
Yeah,
right?
no. Well, it's just us. This is our scoring.
Okay, so I think for me, I don't like the vibe. Like it's a classic reasoning. It's all snooty, rich white people running around, pretending or maybe not pretending or whatever. It's just like it doesn't seem relaxed to me.
Yeah.
But if I was going there for a nice, weekend and going on like a wedding anniversary type of thing, I'm gonna dig that vibe because that's kind of I want fancy. I want to be celebrating. But if I'm there on like a family vacation where I'm schlepping my 3 kids around, I'm not looking for that vibe.
Yeah.
So give it a number. Give the resort some respect. I think the vibe's at least a 3.
I think 3 is fair because I think, like you said, it might not be as relaxing as other resorts and stuff like that. Although I think sometimes once you get there and you're there for a few days, you kind of, some of that goes away a little bit. You get a little bit more at ease and stuff like that. And it's nice to have, like a different vibe too. Like we've had fancy dinners there and stuff like that.
Sure.
So I think, I wouldn't want to go too low, but I think a 3 is fair. Location, I think it's pretty hard to beat the location.
I mean, you can beat it because I think Contemporary is a little bit closer, but no. Location, I mean, if you're on the monorail, I mean, that's iconic, right? So, I mean, you can see fireworks, whatever. The location's got to be a 5.
Yeah, and you can walk there now and stuff like that. So.
Right.
Dining, it has a lot of really good dining. Obviously, a lot of it's pricey, although I will say the Grand Floridian Cafe is a really good option that's not quite as expensive. Has Gasparillo's Grill, I think is the name of it. The pool bar is good. So I think it has, I'm not saying it's necessarily a 5 like Animal Kingdom Lodge, but it's up there when you think of all the high-end dining it has.
I mean, do we want to give it credit for V&A's?
I mean, it's there, right?
Right. I mean, like they just got a star.
Yeah, they got a Michelin star, so I guess maybe that.
I think you
it's
have
hard to argue
give it
with
a 5.
that. Yeah.
I think you have to, just based on that alone. But they have, good options.
And they have, I should also give them credit for 1900 Park Fair just reopened. It's probably one of the better character meals and stuff.
It's true.
Like
I
that.
totally forgot about that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I think it's definitely a 5. Rooms, I think they just redid a lot of them. Obviously, they have the new DVC rooms and stuff like that. They look really nice. They're really well put together. You kind of see where the money goes.
Yeah,
but they're also definitely not everyone's.
They're kind of
cup of
stuffy
tea.
to me.
They can be a little bit, yeah.
It's not my cup of tea, but I think it's definitely some people's cup of tea. So I gotta respect that. And if we're given a baseline moderate a 2, I think you have to. I would honestly give this like a 3.5. So it's either a 3 or a 4 for me. Where do you might?
I was going to go
push me
4. I think just like
okay,
I think it's just not, again, if that's what you're going for, I think they did a nice job. It's not a 5. It's not like the greatest rooms of the world, especially for what you're paying for. But I think they're well appointed.
I want to go back to amenities for a second because I did give it a lot of credit for amenities. When I wish I could just like give it like a minus 0.1, so it's like 3.9 or whatever we gave it. Only because we were there for Christmas time. We went in. We always do the gingerbread house. We got a bunch of candy and chocolate and gingerbread, and we wanted to go outside and kind of eat it. There's nowhere to sit, and there's no benches anywhere. So I want to take a 10th of a point off for that. I just wanted to bring that up. I forgot to bring that up before. I was just angry about that. They need more benches.
That's like
right,
everywhere at Disney. The last one is value.
No, it's like a 1.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's just hard because even that price I got, that's for like a Monday in August. Like, like most of the times it's a lot more than that.
There's no hotel at Disney that's worth over $500 a night.
Yeah,
in my opinion, you don't get. There's not enough free stuff that comes with it, amenities, perks, whatever. Like if I got to like sleep over at the Magic Kingdom, maybe that price is valid.
Yeah, Cinderella's the room in Cinderella Castle.
But like 200, like another $200 per night just to be on the monorail or whatever, it's not worth it to me.
Yep. Okay. Next is Old Key West Resort, which is largely a DVC resort that is over kind of in the Disney Springs area. Obviously, it is themed to Old Key West. And how do you think? Do you think it's well themed?
No,
No.
this is definitely a 1 for me. People are going to hate me for it. It's a lot of DVC people love this resort because it's the OG. But there's really no theming. It reminds me of like just random condos that you see. I mean, that's what they built it for, right?
Yeah.
There's really no theming in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, it makes me think like Florida.
Yeah,
it's like a
that's
condo
it.
unit in Florida. So yeah, I think that's pretty.
It doesn't feel like a Disney World resort.
Yeah. So 1.
1 for me. Yeah.
Pool and amenities.
1.
Yeah, it's
like there's only one. There's only the pool is like there's a slide and that's it. It's not a very good pool for a DVC resort, I should say.
Yeah, and sorry, pricing wise, obviously, generally you're going to rent DVC points or have DVC, but if you wanted to pay cash, it was $482 a night, $361 with discounts. So pretty similar to Animal Kingdom Lodge, but obviously the rooms here are pretty good size, but that'll be factored.
We'll talk about that later. Yep.
Vibe,
definitely a 1.
Yeah.
To me, there's nothing going. It's like we stayed at, what was the resort we stayed at 2 years ago, Phil? You said you stayed there. It was like the Silver Springs Resort or something.
Yeah.
I got the same vibe, minus all the touristy trap nonsense in the lobby. Obviously, Old Key West doesn't have that, but the vibe is just like you're just there.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know some people, like you said, the DVC folks that love it because you have a lot of space and you can kind of relax. Like if you're going more for a relaxing resort that you do a little bit of the parks, it kind of works for that. But for the average family that's going down for their Disney World vacation, it doesn't really have the best vibe.
No.
Location.
I think the location's like a 3 because I love go with the boats to Disney Springs.
Yeah, I was going to say because that definitely ups it some. I didn't know if you think that would up it all the way. To a 3.
I do.
Okay. Dining.
1.
See, I think it has. I was going to go at 2. Olivia's, I think, is a little bit of an underrated restaurant.
Oh no, I think it's overrated.
Really?
Yeah. I haven't eaten there since 2015, so things might have changed in 9 years. Which, granted, it has a large opportunity to do so. I just felt like it was just a mediocre Jersey diner feel to it from the food. Like the menu was huge. I've eaten there twice, again in the same year, but like it didn't. The food was good. I mean, like I had nothing wrong with it. I mean, it had big dishes, but it's not like I could have had this at a Greek diner in Jersey for like $9.55. Right?
Yeah.
It did. Again, maybe it changed, but it. There's nothing to ask me to come back. Some people love it for whatever reason, but that's my opinion.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was. I feel like sometimes it gets a bad rap, and I do think the Gurgling Suitcase is a good bar and stuff like that. So. But that's really all. But that's really all it has for the size. Yeah. And obviously, I think now that since we gave it a 3 for the location to be able to go down to Disney Springs and stuff, then I guess the dining we could give a 1 because part of the dining options are going down to Disney Springs. Right?
True.
So,
Yeah.
The rooms, they're not the most modern or anything, but they're large.
They are massive.
Yeah,
they are massive. You have to give them points for that. I think. I haven't seen. I know some of them have been redone. I think.
Yeah.
Within the last 5 years, when I went there, they were totally like 80s beach style. I mean, they I guess they hit the theme for like Old Key West, literally old, but they're huge. So, I would give them a 3 just because you have it's basically an apartment. It's not a hotel room, or anything else like that. And I stayed at a 2-bedroom villa, and it was massive.
Yeah, and even the studios are like good size and stuff like that and stuff. But they're definitely not they were redone, but they're still they look like a lot of the timeshare type places around the area. And
there's nothing special about them, but you get a lot of space.
Yeah, and then value. So paying cash, they're roughly the same as Animal Kingdom Lodge.
What do we give Animal Kingdom Lodge for value? 5?
For value, we gave it a 5. I don't think this is a 5, but
no, I'm like you could talk me into a 4 just because you've got the boat, you've got massive rooms for that value. If you have a large party, like you can get
it is an option
inexpensively.
Yeah.
So I think when you're looking for, if you can get like a 2-bedroom. And you're going with another family, like the 2 families can like spread out in the same thing and not feel like they're crowding each other also.
Yeah.
So I hate giving all these ones to this resort, so I want to give it some because there is a point for this this DVC. So I would give that a 4 for value because it's rather inexpensive.
All right, let's see if we can go wrap it through a little bit, unless we want to go to a part 3 because we're coming up on an hour.
Yeah, we could go fast. I think no, we probably won't be able to do this, but let's try.
Okay, Polynesian Village Resort. Another going back to the monorail. $773, $695 with the discount. I think this was coming through as even more than the Grand Floridians. But
which
theming, it's hard to have much better theming than the Polynesian, right?
I know it's great. I'm just trying to think like if Animal Kingdom Lodge was a 5, does this deserve a 5 as well? It probably does.
I think so. Yeah,
it probably does.
It's probably the only other one that does.
Like if I could give it a 4.9 just to give the lead to Animal Kingdom Lodge, I would. But like we're rounding up here.
Pool and amenities. It has some deluxe amenities, but it has a really great pool.
Yeah, it's a 5.
Okay.
I think it's just then we're going to the vibe.
Yeah.
The vibe is also a 5 at this resort.
Yeah, vibe is definitely a 5. I was tempted because it doesn't have as many amenities to maybe only do a 4 for the pool and amenities, but vibe is definitely a 5.
Yeah, I mean, you can go. I mean, the pool is just absolutely amazing. I think the amenities are lower versus the Grand Floridian, but the pool is 5 times better. I think. So you can give it a 5. You can go with a 4.
I'll go 4 because I guess because Beach Club and stuff, we gave it a 5 just for the pool and stuff that. It's not as good as that. So.
Okay.
Location.
It's 5.
5. Dining.
I don't know if the dining here is really good, but you've got whatchamacallit there. That's just awesome.
Well, you have Ohana, you have Kona Cafe, you have Captain Cook's, you have Trader Sam's.
I mean, like I think Trader Sam's, like Ohana, I've never been there because again, my wife's a vegetarian. That's kind of might be horrifying for her. But there's people that love that restaurant, so that probably scores high. But for me, I think if Trader Sam's wasn't there, I'd give it a 3. But Trader Sam's brings it to a 4, in my opinion.
I think a 4, yeah. And Captain Cook's is really good, and we like Kona and stuff like that. It's definitely not a 5 or anything like that, but I think it's above average. There's a lot of options.
I agree.
The rooms, they obviously recently had the redone with the Moana theming and stuff like that. They're also deluxe, so they're fairly large. And if you get one that overlooks the lagoon.
I mean, yeah, you get a bungalow. I mean, it's a 10.
Okay. Well, yeah,
right? Yeah. But like, if it's an average room, I would probably say like a 3.
Okay.
But
just, we gave the Contemporary a 4, and obviously we're giving it credit because some of the rooms you can see the theme park and stuff like that.
All right. Fair enough. Yeah. 4. If you can see like potentially see fireworks from your window, you got to give them a 4. Yeah. I agree. Okay. Good call on that.
Value. I think this is where it gets killed, right?
I mean, like any of these deluxe resorts are like, if there was any resort that I would spend 1 or 2 nights at and splurge like a maniac, this would be it. So I think it has to get a point. So maybe a 2.
2. Okay. Yeah. Because the Grand Floridian and the Contemporary, we gave a 1.
Yeah. And this has the, like, if you're going to spend money at a deluxe out of the 3 of them that are on the monorail loop, this is the one you spend the extra money for at least a day or 2.
Yep.
Which a lot of people do.
Yep. Okay, Pop Century Resort, 201, 170 with the discount. Obviously, it's themed to all the different, some of the decades. They didn't do all of them. It's just the classic years. What do you think about the theming of Pop?
Hate's a bad word. I dislike very much the theming, so I give the theming a 1 on this. It's rather boring in my opinion.
See, I think it's better than the All Stars.
Yeah, but not that much better.
Well, I was thinking that's why I'd give it a 2.
Well, what did we give? What else did we give it to? Did we give anything a 2?
So Art of Animation, we gave a 3.
Fine. Yeah,
okay.
2.
Okay. Pool and amenities. I mean, it has a nice pool. Not really any amenities. I think it's just a baseline for
So we go 2.
Valley. Yeah. What did we give? Art of Animation, we gave a 2. The All Stars, we gave a 1.
Yeah, so a 2 is good.
Vibe.
1.
Yeah.
It's just a busy resort without anything special.
Yep. Location.
You got to give it a 3 just because it's got.
That's what we gave Art of Animation, so I think that the same is there. Dining, I think it's a 1.
What did we give Art of Animation?
We gave that a 2 because it has slightly better food court.
Okay, 1 is fair. Yeah, I don't whatever.
Yeah. The rooms, obviously they've been updated and they're pretty modern. It's the same type of thing, so it's probably just a 2.
Yep.
And then value, I think this is where
I think Skyliner plus what was your cost?
170 at
70.
discount.
You got to go 4 value.
Yeah.
Skyliner for under $200 a night.
Exactly.
Yep. I think that's awesome.
All right, so now we have the 2 Port Orleans resorts. First, French Quarter, which is
Let's do these at the same time, but just score each of them separately.
okay. And they were roughly similar priced. With the discount, French Quarter was $250 and Riverside was $267, which is usually French Quarter is a little bit more, but they were pretty similar priced. So theming,
I give French Quarter 3, Riverside 2.
okay. I definitely think French Quarter should be higher than Riverside. So
do you think 3 is fair?
I think it depends if you like. Yeah, I mean, I think
I've
it's
never been
well
to French
themed.
Quarter, so I just know it's.
I have a
better
little
than
bias
Riverside.
as to it. That's one we stayed at when I was a kid and stuff like that. So I guess I'm trying to let that not.
Do you want to make it a 4 because it's awesome to you? You can. You can
I
drag
think
me
it's
up
a
to
4.
a 4.
I think it's a 4 with the like. when
I
they have-
haven't been there, so I can't negatively impact your like.
Yeah.
I'll have to go with you because I trust your opinion.
I think it's really well themed with all the roads. Like it looks like actual roads and it looks like you're in the French Quarter and stuff like that. So I think it should be a 4.
I just don't like Riverside because I love the food court area. I love the look of it, but you're in the middle of a jungle, which I guess is kind of what they're going for. But like,
Yeah, I mean, if
kind of not like it either.
and I think that element, if you like it, is more the vibe than the theming of it.
I agree with that. Yes.
Pool and amenities. They do have like this is where I think some of these get some bonus points for amenities with like having the horse-drawn carriage. They have the boats you can go out and rent for fishing and things like that. And obviously,
I think they're both solidly 3s in my opinion.
I think that's fine. They're definitely better than some of the other ones. The vibe. I think they both have pretty good vibe. It's different than a lot of the other ones where we normally stay because it's more relaxed. But
From just from stories alone, I would probably give French Quarter if I had to guess. I'm going there for the vibe. Like I'm expecting a good vibe, so I'd give French Quarter a 4.
Yep.
And then I'd give Riverside probably a 2, or maybe a 3.
I'd give it a 3.
Pop.
Having stayed there, I would give it a 3 because it's different. It's more that relaxing kind of wandering and stuff, but it has like little. Streams and bridges you got to go over and stuff. Like it has.
It's 5 years ago.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah. Location. Obviously, it's buses for everything, but it has the boat down to Disney Springs as well. Yeah. So we gave the other ones that were on that a 3. Dining.
I guess to me, Riverside. I love their food court, but it is a food court, and I don't know. What's the name of that restaurant?
Boat Rights.
Boat Rights. I heard it was awful. Then I heard it was fine. It's a sit down at actually most monitors have sit downs. Yeah. I give it a 2, and then French Quarter a 3 because it have the beignets.
Yeah, it has scat cats and stuff, which is cool too. So so I think that's fair. We'll come back.
What did we give like standard rooms? What did you give the Caribbean Beach rooms?
Caribbean Beach, we gave a 3.
I think that because they're updated, they've got all the stuff. 3 for both of them.
And then value, so they're in the 250 a little bit higher range. So they're
I'd be Caribbean Beach.
Caribbean Beach, we gave a 5.
So I say the floor is a 3. I think for value. And there's still under $300 for a moderate at this point.
And you can fit 5 people in some of the rooms.
Yeah, I mean, if you're because sometimes it gets more expensive. If you're close to 3, the value 300, the value's a 3.
Yeah.
But if you could stick around 250, I think the value goes to a 4 on some of these. So I don't know what you want to give that because you're closer to 250 on this. So I don't know if you want to give it a 4.
Yeah, I'm trying to see so Coronado we gave a 4. Even the tower, which was closer to 3. I think these are better value than the Coronado Casitas. Like, I think you get more for your money. So if those are 4, I think these should be a 4.
Yep. Okay, I agree.
The Riviera Resort. This was the baseline 741, discount of 551. Is themed to the Italian Riviera. Although I think some people seem to really like it and think it's nice. Other people kind of think it looks like it could be a hotel anywhere.
those people are crazy. I love the theming here. So it's tough to go anywhere near Animal Kingdom Lodge or Polynesian. I think this is close to a 4 for me, but not exactly a 4. But I don't want to give it a 3, so I have to like err on the side of rounding up to a 4, in my opinion. I also love the look of the resort when you're staying at Caribbean Beach over the lake, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. That's there. I just think it's gorgeous, especially at night.
Pool and amenities. I don't think the pool here is very great.
The pool's awful.
Yeah, so I think 1 or 2 for this.
2, I think, because you still have some other amenities inside the hotel, but so 2.
Vibe.
I don't think the vibe's particularly great inside. Probably a 2.
Okay.
I think.
Location, obviously you're on the Skyliner, and one thing that's good is you have your dedicated bus for the other resorts.
Yeah, this is probably close to a 5, I would have to say, for location, because you have a Skyliner station, you have a bus. I love the Skyliner. You can hop quick and jump to like 2 parks. It's wonderful.
Yep. So just we gave the Caribbean Beach a 4. So do you think having the dedicated bus ups it?
No, I guess we have to give it a 4 because at least Caribbean Beach,
I think we also said the other part was like other resorts you could see fireworks from your room and stuff like that. Like you can't do any of that.
True. 4. Yep. That's
although you can from the top of the Riviera.
It doesn't
from the restaurant that's up there.
It's tiny.
Okay. Dining, Riviera does have some great restaurants.
Yeah, I think it's a 4. I think
that's
dining.
fair. I don't think I'd go a 5, but it's really good.
Yeah. I still can't get into Topolino's for breakfast. I'm sure.
We've only done dinner there. The rooms, they're modern and nice looking and stuff. They have some kind of weird. Some of them have like a weird triangular configuration and stuff like that.
I mean, I'm like, unless you're staying in that 3-bedroom villa that I saw a review of one time, I think they're a solid 3, in my opinion.
I think that's fine. And then value
1.
Yeah,
I'm not spending that much money for the resort. I'll never stay there unless somebody gives it to me.
And even the DVC, sometimes the DVC points weren't too bad to rent, but a lot of the ones that fit more than, like for your family would be a lot of DVC.
My sister stayed here on DVC before. She likes it. So if you have DVC points, maybe the value is higher. I don't know, but I don't have those.
Yep. Saratoga Springs. It's kind of similar, I would say, to Old Key West. This one's right around the same pricing as that as well.
It's all horses.
Yeah, I think the theming's better than Old Key West, though.
Yeah, because it actually has a theme.
Yeah.
So if we fine, a 2. I was going to give it a 1, but you have a point. So 2 for if that's your thing, I guess it's not impressing anybody. I don't.
Pool and amenities. I think it's kind of baseline, right?
Yeah. But okay, I'm thinking of other things I'm going to say, but that's part of other categories.
So just like a 2, or
yeah. I mean, it's better than the values.
Yeah.
A vibe check on this place. I've never been there, so I don't know what the vibe is like. But I don't particularly think the vibe is anything good.
I think it's similar to Old Key West. I think it's a little bit better just because it's got that theme.
So 2?
Yeah. Location.
I think the location this might be a sneaky one. If you want to take in the drone show as part of the location, you got to give it a solid 4. It's right across from Disney Springs. You can go out in the back and watch the drone show right now. You still got to take buses everywhere. But I think it's a solid 4 just because it's in a unique place right now, I think.
Yep. Dining, it has more options than Old Key West. It has, the Turf Club Lounge is a really nice
I don't
lounge.
know anything about the dining in this place.
Yeah.
So I have
the
no
Turf
idea
Club
how to
is
go
really
this.
nice. It's like kind of another sort of under the radar thing. I mean, the Artist Palette is okay. The Paddock Grill is okay. It's just got a lot of options, which I think is benefit, and obviously the location helps with going.
I'll go with whatever you score. I couldn't name a single restaurant in this place until you just started naming them.
Yeah,
so
I mean we gave it's more than Old Key West, which was a 1. I don't think this is like amazing, but it should get at least.
It's not
a
2,
1.
Yeah. It's not a 1.
So I'll give it a 2. That's fine. The rooms I think are similar to the Old Key West. They're large and.
I think it's just I give this the Old Key West score, which I think we gave it a 4.
We gave it a 3 for the rooms.
Oh, I thought we were on value. I'm sorry. The rooms are whatever -1 from Old Key West.
Okay, so I'll give it a 2. And then value, we gave Old Key West a 4.
Yeah, now this one has to be like a 3, I think, just because you're not getting the size of the rooms. That's why I'm downgrading at 1 point. But the cost is pretty good, I think. For
the cost is about the same. They're not quite as big, but I think you get more with the resort, less with the room.
If you can get it under 4, the value is a 4. If it's over 4, the value is a 3.
Yeah. Well, we're using the pricing we have right here, which is $350.
So I guess it's a 4 then.
Okay.
Because you know what? It's definitely a 4, because if you want to factor in drone show and you want to factor in proximity to Disney Springs at under $400, where you can go out for some drinks and not worrying about having to drive or hop on a bus or all that other stuff, I think 4 solid. Yep.
Okay.
There.
Two left. Wilderness Lodge came up as $508 on sale for $381.
It's
Theming.
Crazy. Theming is, to me, I want to give this a 5 because I just dig that vibe. And
I think so, and I almost think it gets a bonus roundup for how good it is at the holidays too.
And I still haven't been there for the holidays because I have to. My wife is a gingerbread freak. She loves gingerbread houses, and I just haven't gotten over there during the holidays. And I don't know when I'll ever get back after going there 2 years in a row. So I keep kicking myself for that. But yes, I'm with you on that though.
Pool and amenities. I mean, it's got similar deluxe type of amenities. The pools are pretty nice there. They're well themed. And
I just love the view from them, like looking up at the resort and stuff like that. I don't know how to score that though, because that's more of a vibe check than amenities. I think the amenities is probably with the pool 3. Yeah, I think you have to distance itself from like the Polynesian.
Yeah. Vibe, like a 4.
I think 4. I don't think it's like amazing vibes. Like we give Poly a 5 on vibes, right? So it's a step below that. Okay.
Yep. Location. Obviously, you're near there. You can see things. You can see the electric water pageant, but you're not on the monorail.
But you
have
got a
boats.
boat.
You got boats. Yeah.
I have to give it a 4.
4, I think. Fair. Yep.
Yeah.
Dining has some great options. It has Storybook Dining. It has Roaring Forks. It's got quite a few things. But
Whispering Canyon. Whatever that place is called,
Geyser Point.
I think it's a solid 4, but somebody could argue that it's a 5.
I think 4. I think it's a notch below like Animal Kingdom Lodge or Grand Floridian.
Right. No, but the only reason why I say you could argue for a 5 because all the restaurants there are good restaurants.
Yeah, and they have different levels
and different price points. Right. Where like Animal Kingdom Lodge has amazing restaurants, but they're all high price points.
Yeah, Sanaa's not too bad, but
But like, there's like quick service, moderate level meals you can get at Wilderness Lodge. They're not breaking the bank, that are also very fun to participate in and go to type of thing. But 4 is probably the appropriate score for that.
Yep. The rooms.
I don't know much about the rooms. They look nicely themed and they're good. So I mean, like I think baseline's like a 3 on that. Like rooms don't really impress me unless it's like.
Yeah, I think 3 is fine unless you wanted to. I mean, they have the different DVC configurations that you can rent out and stuff. So if we kind of factor in those rooms that you can get 2 bedrooms and the cabins and stuff like variety of rooms, but I think the individual rooms aren't more than a 3.
Yeah, no, I'm still on a 3. I think.
Okay.
I think there's I think we have to take the average of what you can get. Not like we can't give Polynesian a 6 because the bungalows exist, right?
And then value, so $381. It's slightly more than Animal Kingdom Lodge, which we gave a 5. So it's still a deluxe you can get for under $400. So
I'm going to argue for a 5 on this one, right?
Okay.
It is not as amazingly gorgeous as Animal Kingdom Lodge. However, you're closer to the Magic Kingdom. You get a boat. You're still under $400 for your price point for a deluxe. You get the deluxe evening hours. I think if you combine the cost with the location, I think it has to be a 5.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say it's a solid 4, but yeah.
I mean, just think of all you're getting. You're getting like under $400. You're getting all that access to dining, extra evening hours, taking a boat to the Magic Kingdom, which most people don't do that.
From some angles, you can see fireworks. You can see the electrical light parade. Electric water pageant, sorry.
And the place is gorgeous.
Yeah.
So I think you have to go with 5. Because I think that's the cheapest, quote-unquote, pure deluxe. Like, I don't consider Saratoga and Old Key West like a deluxe resort.
It depends on the day. You can get Animal Kingdom Lodge cheaper.
Right. But I think because of the location and everything else, I think that puts it at 5.2. Even though Animal Kingdom Lodge is sometimes
I mean, when you think about
$20-30
it,
more expensive.
Contemporary Polynesian and Grand Floridian are at least $200 more a night.
Yeah, well, that's exactly where I'm going with that.
And last but not least, the Yacht Club, $691, $518 for the sale, quote unquote sale.
Yes.
Theming, so obviously it's similar to the Beach Club, but it's more of like a Northeast Nantucket, Cape Cod type vibe.
Honestly, I'm lazy and I just copy paste beach to the Yacht Club because they're basically the same. It just depends on what kind of flavor you're going for, I think. And you can access either one pretty easily. I don't know if you want to knock location by one. I forget which one's technically farther away from Epcot. If you really
They're both walking, stuff like that. The only thing it does have Yachtsman Steakhouse, which is really good. So I didn't know if we want to up the
very
dining.
true.
So we gave Beach Club a 3. I don't know if we want to give it a 4.
Sure.
Dining.
Sure. Just to be different.
It has a good lounge too. I'm blanking on the name of it, but I know that one's really good.
I've never been to the Yacht
Club. So I definitely think that you get a 4 for dining, but fine leaving the rest. And
I'm
we're
good
done.
with that. Hey, do we? How about we do this since we're now 20 minutes over and I need to go to bed for work tomorrow? Let's do the result show next week and kind of tally up and see what we make, because I think we could.
I think that's good. I think
right?
doing a little bit of homework on it to kind of rank everything and like what surprised us, what positively or negative and stuff like that. So
look at us making content for ourselves.
I know. Now we got the show notes for next week started already.
We've only been doing this for 4 years, so finally, and we still have the DBC engagement that we've done.
Yeah, we'll keep it going another week.
Yeah. I don't think anybody remembers what it is at this point because it's been 2 weeks. Comments on look. How about we'll take some feedback on Tiana's Bayou Adventure and the psychotic stuff that's going on. I'm not going to actually put that in the calendar.
But if you want to chime in on your thoughts on that, we'll put it in our channel. But also chime in. Are you watching the preview? Are you trying to keep it spoiler free and stuff like that?
We'll do a vibe check on Discord about Tiana's Bayou Adventure for next week. I'm already seeing the reaction to what people are doing, and I'm happy that our Discord is pretty what's wrong with the rest of the world type of thing. So they're aligned with our people are crazy.
Which I think what most people, like you said, even on those crazy places, it's like a handful of people going
over and over and over.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, thank you for watching and listening, everybody. We really appreciate your time, especially now that this is a very, very long show. So if you're still listening to this and watching this, thank you so much. Get onto Discord. And I didn't even do all the social media at the beginning of the show.
I think everyone knows it.
Everybody knows where it is. Click on Discord, join the conversation, and get ready to rank all the resorts and talk about it next week. And thanks for everything, guys. See you next week.
Take care, everyone.